All right. Hello, everyone. Hi. My name is Jennifer Williams. I am a 2D illustrator and 2D character designer. I recently received my Bachelor of Arts in graphic design and a minor in animation. Oh, okay.
No, just moving this.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you. One of my main inspirations for wanting to go into the arts was animation. A lot of the animations I watched as a kid inspired me to want to take a more serious artist journey, particularly wanting to go into being an animator. Two animations that I really liked as a kid was My Little Pony and Gravity Falls, with awesome character designs and awesome and compelling stories. It inspired me to want to do the same with my artwork. Same with video games. I love video games. I love the music for them and everything, but particularly, again, they have storylines of perseverance and courage, and it makes me want to persevere and have courage with my art journey. I definitely recommend checking out these soundtracks though, if you are ever interested in that. Going on with music, um, going on with music, I listen to a lot of these genres that I have on the screen. So I like rock music, I love EDM, I love J-pop and VGM, which is video game music. Um, Time and time again, these genres have inspired me personally and creatively, and particularly Paramore has definitely continuously inspired me. They're my number one favorite group, time and time again, and they usually pop up on Spotify Rap right next to Sonic. So if that doesn't tell you I'm a nerd, then it is. I definitely am. Um, More inspirations that tend to pop up for me come from artists themselves. One of my favorite artist names is Likely, also goes by Cornelia. Um, and Cornelia does a lot of expressive character designs that are all uniquely shaped and just they're all different to me. This is their character AJ. And I just try to take on that inspiration to make my characters look unique and different themselves. Another artist that I get inspired by is Sibylline Manette. They're an illustrator that artistically draws different characters as well, but it's more focused on illustration to me rather than the character design. And I get drawn in by their line work and their color schemes. And that makes me want to evoke that in my own work. Now we're going to go through how I do my artwork using my art piece Orange Gina. The first step for making any art piece is, for me anyway, is coming up with an idea. Whether that's from a show or from an art piece that is seen or a piece of music I hear or even just straight from the brain. I come up with an idea first. In this art piece in particular, I didn't really come up with an idea. I went based off of an art piece I drew in the past. And it's called Lemon Girl. And it's very like 2016, 2017 kind of era. And I hope that it reads as that because I just think that's funny. Um, but I took that idea and I made a thumbnail. And a thumbnail is a quick sketch that you draw. It's pretty small. It's supposed to be quick, and it's just a quick sketch of what you want your art piece to look like. And sometimes it changes from the thumbnail, but in this case, it stayed pretty much the same through every step. And so I took that thumbnail, I enlarged it, and I sketched it out using a color pencil, and then I drew more refined parts of the sketch on top of that. Um, and then the third part is really like refining it, darkening lines, and scanning it into it. into my phone. And as you see, like the circle that she's holding, the orange that she's holding, was more circular in the second draft versus the third final draft. And so I took the sketch, scanned it in, and I finished everything else digitally. The reason why I usually work traditionally and then digitally is because I feel more um, close with the art piece when I'm tangibly drawing it versus just working digitally. And this is the usual process I do to marry the traditional and the digital. But sometimes I do have pieces that are just traditional and I have pieces that are just digital. But this is the usual process that I go through. Going into how I choose my colors, this is a theory called color theory that is often used with different artists, created by Sir Isaac Newton. And it's the theory that certain colors are synonymous and harmonious with each other. And in this case, any color that is across from each other is synonymous with each other. Any color that is right next to another color is also harmonious with a color. And any color that can form a triangle within this circle is the main three colors that work with each other. And the most knowledge, I guess the most popular triangle is the yellow, blue, and red one. And I incorporated red, blue, and yellow into this art piece with the secondary color green. And I darkened the hue and I darkened the luminosity of it. The reason why I try to use color theory is because I want my art piece to feel harmonious and look appealing when people see it. So I don't want the colors to just be unintentionally picked. I want them to make sense with each other. Another color thing I go into is color psychology, which is the theory that certain colors have certain meanings. It is a more cultural phenomenon, but I do try to lean into how red represents anger or yellow represents happiness. Black represents death is another one. And it's made by Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. Again, it's not definite that all these colors have meaning because of different cultural perspectives, but this is the way I try to go into colors and use colors to my advantage. And in this case, I wanted green to represent safety, red, passion, orange, warmth, and blue, trust. And because of that, I'm able to evoke certain feelings for certain people to see when they see my artwork. Another theory, animation theory that I go into is called shape language. And it is the theory that certain shapes have certain feelings, like circle meaning approachable or friendly, triangle meaning dangerous or sharp. And by using these shapes, I can incorporate them into my character designs when people look at them. And so with Orange Gina, the puffballs are round, her earrings are round, the orange is round. And it's just meant to come across that she is an approachable character. And I've had people tell me that the orange that she's holding feels like they are being invited to share this orange with the character. So using all these elements together, I formulate my illustrations. And with those illustrations, I'm able to evoke certain feelings. And with this one in particular, all these items I use to make my artwork, but they're much sharper and duller in color. But I wanted to saturate them and make them rounded out for the sake of giving off a bubbly, emotive feeling. Same with my character designs. With my character designs, shape language is more important to me. But in this case, I wanted to show that Mina is a strong but friendly character. So she has some sharp angles to her, and rounded hair and rounded face to kind of give off that she's strong, but also friendly. Mina is one of my characters for my animation projects. In Between the Realms is a long-standing project that I've been working on since for the past 10 years, really. And it's had a lot of development with character designs and scripts. And it's just been really fun, like working on it. This is the log line for In Between the Realms, and the log line is a synopsis of what the TV show, movie, short, any sort of piece of media that you're watching. This was like, it's short, one sentence synopsis. So for ITR, which is the acronym for In Between the Realms, is to protect Earth from imminent destruction. And In Between the Realms, Mina, a cat-like citizen from the realm Millennia, travels to the forbidden planet Earth to train foreseen defenders Chelsea, Ashley, and Tasha. And these are the main characters of ITR, as aforementioned. Mina is the wise leader of the three girls. Tasha is the aggressive, sharp one. A lot of people like Tasha because of her hair, but she's just meant to be the strong, aggressive, but also really supportive character. Ashley is my bubbly, super energetic, talkative character. And if you have seen My Little Pony, you'll probably make some correlation with Pinkie Pie. And Chelsea is like my quick-witted, sharp, sarcastic character. And they all really come together for me. This is an old turnaround sheet of Mina that I did with an older design, and a turnaround sheet is the way to keep your character proportionally the same at any perspective that they're in. I'm really proud of this because this was my first time making a turnaround sheet, but I'm excited to redo it and revamp it with a newer design of Mina and the other characters. Here are some more characters that I've drawn. Some, you know, the main characters, but some new ones too. And some are from the realms and some are from Earth. And I'm sure you can tell which ones are from the realms and which ones are from Earth. This is another project that has been in long standing with ITR. It's called Metamorphosis 60. And I've been working on this about the same amount of time as ITR. MM60 or double M60 is the acronym for Metamorphosis 60. And the log line for it is, for the purpose of halting human-created reproductive alien creatures from destroying all universe's life forms, Cy, V, Tammy, and Josh join the WCSM, Worldwide Collaborative Space Militia, in the events of Metamorphosis 60. And to the right here is a old sketch I did of Cy. MM60 or double M60 is a grittier storyline. It's not as happy and vibrant as ITR is. And to really show off that it is grittier, I wanted to give darker colors and sharper lines to my characters. So in my character design here, Kalina is pretty much gray and white with some hints of color here and there. And I wanted to show that she's still kind of friendly, so her face is kind of rounded a little bit. But yeah, here's some more character designs I've done. Here's Tammy on the left, which was mentioned in the lineup of the main characters, and two side characters, Gerda and Alexandra. With these projects, I really wanted to showcase how or it's like a love letter to animation for me. Animation told me I can persevere and have courage with all of the things and these fantastical events that all those fictional characters were in. But what I wanted to add for my animation projects was diversity. I did not grow up with a lot of diverse characters in the media I was watching. So I wanted to be the startup for that. I wanted to show that regardless of your culture, what race you are, you can also be courageous and be brave in fictional, fantastical trials. This is my recent project. It's a work in progress called Project Transformation. At the beginning of 2024, I hit a really low point. I was mentally, artistically, emotionally, spiritually, all of the leads. I just was not doing well with in any area, and it felt like everything was crashing down. Nothing was really going in my favor. It was also after a really creatively exhausting semester. So it took me, I couldn't write, I couldn't draw, and it took me a while to even want to. This was the only thing I could really draw from that time. But I learned that I was just going through a trial of change. And I needed to evolve and change in those trials for something new, into something new. And so I started researching about metamorphosis, and the first insect that came to mind that goes through a change are butterflies. Butterflies start out as caterpillars and they grow into a butterfly. And I felt like I was in the trials I was facing, I was growing through those trials to get to my own butterfly. And so I started, well, with the art I was researching, like this five butterflies piece, I took that as inspiration to then start sketching what I felt like transformation felt like. And I felt like it's grotesque, it's weird, it's odd, but also strangely beautiful because then you are changing to something new and unfamiliar to yourself and to other people. And I think that's important for humans to go through. And on top of that, I started looking up symbolism of what butterflies are. And the power of transformation came up, overcoming challenges, having good luck, and focusing on positivity. And positivity really resonated with me because I try to um, approach all negative situations with optimism. In my creative rut, I couldn't draw anything really, but I started going into poetry, and I wrote this poem for the art piece, and it says, "My arms pulled back, my legs broken, my body cracked, a change awoken. School impedes, my friends leave, my job recedes, my life proceeds. The bruises on my body, the wounds to my character, creating something new once again. Let God mend my bones and fractures, creating my new form for refined breathing, to make a new living, creating a new being." And so then this is the work in progress of the final piece I've been working on. It's been a slow process because I want it to be slow. It's very personal. It's very near and dear to my heart. And it's the first time in my life where I don't have to rush to complete an assignment or something. So I wanted to really take my time with this. And if you're seeing this, you are very lucky because not a lot of people have seen the progress of this because it's very personal. So you're lucky to even get this. Moving on from emotional distress, I started doing projects, or I did a project with Carhartt that was meant to inspire others, and particularly here, it was for children. I wanted to do illustrations for the children of the Carhartt community. And one of Carhartt's models is focusing on family and friends. And they proposed that we make a product pack, which is to the left of this image. It is clothes that are really popular or that are selling at the moment. But to the right, it's meant to show family or friends wearing the clothes and doing things with the clothes. And so we wanted to illustrate kids wearing popular Carhartt material. I don't even know the word. Clothing? Just clothing. Just clothing. Yeah, just clothing. This is some more conceptual art I did for the product, focusing on their famous beanie and their overalls and how versatile they are in activities. My favorite being the right with the chicken on the head. I just felt like that was very important. And everyone else really liked it too, but we ended up going in a different direction. And we went with the stuck truck concept. Even though it's definitely giving child labor, but it's okay because it's meant to be like gritty and fun, and that was something Carhartt really wanted to show, is that you can get down and dirty with these clothes for a good time and having fun, especially with children, how they get dirty all the time. This is the final illustration, including the overalls and the pants and the hat. I fortunately was able to get a reference of a pickup truck that Carhartt did a collaboration with Chevy for. And I brought the chicken back because I felt like it was very important. And in a different department of Carhartt, I was doing storyboards for animation, which is like the basis before you see a moving picture. So I did some functionality tests of different pants that they were wanting to have animated, and this is a portion of the storyboards I was doing. It was the first time I did a storyboard for a company, which felt really big to me at the time. And just working with Carhartt overall was just a really wonderful, great, and creative experience. They embraced my art style. They loved the diverse characters, the kids that I was doing. And they gave me a lot of creative freedom to just draw for whatever ideas I had, and they supported every step. And I definitely would love to work with them again. I've been in a couple of exhibitions, which I'm very blessed to have been. The first exhibition I ever was in was Black Jubilation, right at Sea Metro Space, right on Grand River, if you're from the Lansing area. It was a exhibition focusing on Black joy. And if you haven't noticed, I draw a lot of Black girls having a good time. So it kind of fit exactly with what I already do. And I also exhibited this art piece at Eli and Edith Broad alongside fellow artists. I think April was on here, and April, I was right next to her art pieces, which was really cool. It was great being alongside other coworkers and peers. And Mindy here to the right was made on Zoom. She was drawn on Zoom with some friends. And if you see, we're gonna see the sketch of it later on the slide, but she was drawn on Zoom and it was a pretty terrible sketch. But I wanted to change it into its own character design. And so with that, exhibiting Black joy in both exhibitions, that was just really cool. But Mindy was also shown in my solo exhibition I did called Operation Joy, an exhibition on the pursuit of joy. I personally see joy as the art of contentment, but it can be influenced and grown with having positive experiences with positive things. Um, and one part of the exhibition in whole was emphasizing childlike wonder. And children just have, they're so funny. They can fall down and scrape their knee and then they'll get up and start playing again. Like they have no problems. And I wanted to emphasize how even though like kids have different negative experiences, they tend to still have such a positive outlook on life. And the whole point was kind of replicating that in the exhibition. So left is crayon scribbles everywhere, and in the middle is like pink clouds with anime sparkles, and the right is like a bunch of different sizes and types of smiley faces. The star of the show was Child's Homework, which I say is kid vomit. There's just puzzle pieces everywhere, misspelled words, um, grass in the corner, sun in the corner, smiley faces, like it's, and I don't know if you noticed the handwriting texture on the back of like those big handwriting practices that you did in kindergarten. But I drew all of that out for this piece. It's a pretty big piece. I probably should put the size, but yeah, it was great like doing that to replicate just how kids just play. They don't care about anything except just playing around.
How large is the piece?
I think it's 18 by 48.
Inches.
Yeah, 18 by 48 inches. Yeah, long, so very long. Um, yeah, but in the corner of the piece, is like my name in like a scribbled format. And a scoring from a teacher that says 0 out of 100, see me after class. Um, kind of putting this negativity on the art piece itself, saying that it's not that good, it's not great, but everything is outshined by just how positive this art piece is and how vibrant and exciting it is. And I just wanted to show that again, that we can overlook negativity with positivity if we really just lean into it. So yeah, that's all of my work. That is why I make artwork. I make artwork to inspire other people with positivity and fun. And even to inspire myself, like my transformation project I did, or I'm doing right now. Just to show that art can be influential in a positive way. And yeah, these are all my contacts. So if you want to contact me, this is the way to do it. But thank you for giving me your time. Oh, and then there's the Zoom sketch of Mindy right there that I did for the character design I did. But yeah, that's my presentation. Thank you.
We're gonna take questions for the both of us at the end. So keep in mind any questions that you have for Jen, and we will do that after my part, I guess. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank
I got
you.
you. Yeah.
Okay, I stopped sharing.
Okay. Yay. Okay. All right, give us a moment while we switch to different people. I'm gonna set my timer as well, so I don't get off track. Let's see. I wrote down some questions for you too. I'm excited. I'm excited to ask them, but we'll get to that. Yeah. All righty, let me minimize this. Okay. Oop. Okay, and then we're going to share the screen. The sound. All right. Just making sure everything's all here. Okay. Hello, everyone. Jen and I first want to say thanks, Jen, for us doing this little artist talk. And we're doing it under Afro Artists Alliance event. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about who I am, but also the process of my current body of work that I've been doing for almost 2 years now. And yeah, let's just get into it. So this is me. I'm from Baltimore, Baltimore County, born and raised, and my main body of work is doing abstract art, very large scale. We're going to get into how large scale things are and once I start talking about them, but my concepts, to start us off, they range from linguistics, language, invisibility in our culture, specifically Black culture, the time of how art lasts, but also what even the prolonged time of how we make work as well. I also have a lot of different interests in geography, just how the world looks when you just look on a Google Earth image. Sometimes you can find some really interesting spots that are just very pretty. You can just screenshot it and use it as a background. That's the type of board that I am. But so above all though, my main concept is all stems from spontaneous discovery. So just a little bit more background. I got a BFA from Towson University in Maryland, and I am now a third year MFA graduate student here at Michigan State University. And so this is my third and final year. So woo, yes. So expect to see my work at the Broad Museum next spring. Woo. So we're going to get into what that work is. Like, you guys, this is actually a really key time in me doing this artist talk, because you guys are going to see like a sneak peek of really the insides of this exhibition that I'm preparing for in the spring that people may not be able to get information from, because I won't be there all the time in the museum to say like, this stems from this stems from this. So I'm very grateful for you guys to come and experience this with me. So let's get started. My work is about documenting communities. And it took a really long time for me to even just encapsulate that in just one sentence. But ever since moving here from Baltimore, I had a culture shock initially because of not only experiencing being in a PWI institute, but also navigating my way. In my first year, I was the only Black faculty, but also acting graduate in my year. And navigating through that, what is that like? How can I still share and evoke my feelings, but yet there's a tension between the audience that was around me where they couldn't quite understand in that sense. So what I do when I feel like I'm not quite satisfied with like the situations that I'm in, I seek out for solutions. I seek out and I try to find people or partnerships that will help me be who I am in the best way possible. And so all this work, it stems from Black culture. My interest in really understanding the small moments that happen in our culture. So to start off with this work, specifically what I focus on are nonverbal communications and actions that the Black community does to represent the bonds that we create. So for example, handshakes, you can see people doing fist bumps or certain types of unique handshakes to their brothers or sisters. We have specific hand games that we play. And this picture is, my face isn't there, but I'm the one that's like down, and we're playing Rockin' Robin. And that's with the Jackson 5.
song. That's a Jackson 5 song. So noticing these moments where we fellowship with each other, and it doesn't have to, we don't have to say anything really to initiate it. You can start, there's just a look that you can give to your counterpart, and they would also understand. Another example is I noticed when I was in seminar a few years ago, and I pulled out lotion from my bag because my hands were ashy, and I was about to put lotion on my hands, and my friend who is white, she says, "Oh, the lotion smells really good." And I said, "Would you like some?" And I gave her the lotion bottle, knowing in that moment, I realized if that was my mother, I would have just extended my hands out with the lotion on my hand and touched, and our hands would have touched, and we would have shared lotion that way. So that's when I was like, I need to start really visualizing what does that mean for me. And that just exploded into this body of work that we are about to get into. But it's like those small moments that are subconscious where you have those physical actions that vary between the Black community versus outside of the Black community, and that tension of understanding, but also maybe not even it's not even about understanding, but also just about accepting that there are certain languages that are perceived that certain people just can't obtain. So that's kind of the community aspect of it. So how do I even demonstrate this in a physical form? Let's see. This is one of the examples of the collaborative work that I do. So this piece is called Breaking, and this was a collaboration with the All of the Above Hip Hop Academy, the hip hop group here in Lansing. And the method of my process, this paper, it's called Yupo paper, and it's a plastic kind of material. And the surface of the paper is this really bright white. And because it's plastic, if you touch or put any oils on the paper, the oils will just stay on the surface. And when I put ink over top of that, the oil and ink will resist one another, and you'll be able to see all the marks of oil that were on the paper. So this is a process that I repeat with my body of work. And when the paper was blank, the dancers from All the Above, they danced on this paper while it was blank. And then afterwards, I was working on this. The left photo is a beginning process shot, and then the right photo is a detail shot of the finished work. So you can see there's these white or lighter kind of slashes or curves that happen throughout the piece. Those are streaks of the dancer's shoes from them skidding on the paper. I want to also note that the style of dance that they did was breakdancing. So that's why the title is called Breaking. So this was a very physical act. Their bodies were in direct contact with the paper. It's not like it was just their feet. So you could see, there are some other moments. I wish that we could see this in person, but there's moments where you can see their fingerprint or a handprint or the seam of the fabric, because as they were dancing on the paper, we did this experiment outside. So since it was really hot and they were perspirating, the fabric was at such a humidity that it had an impact on the paper as well. So it's really documenting the physical traces that happen, but also revealing the invisible, I would say, in my opinion, rituals that make up a community. So for Breaking, for them, dance is what heals them. That's what bonds their community. That's what their drive is. And that's just one example of the collaborative work. Next, this is the display of the piece that I just showed you guys. Displaying work is also a thing that I am grappling with. I would say grappling, more like rebelling against. And this piece, well, first I'll explain why I'm grappling with it, and then I'll explain what you guys are even looking at. The reason why, for me, display is very important is because I want to challenge the notion of the contemporary gallery space. Whenever you are in a gallery space, it's a white wall, and you have a label and a paragraph on the side. So in that sense, you go into a gallery, you look at the work, you wonder, I wonder what this work is about. You read the text, you're like, oh, well, now I know what the work is about. And to me, and then you go home and go about your life. But for me, I want there to be more than that. And I feel that the gallery restricts actually our interaction, that we can experience art in a more visceral way. For me, I like to challenge what would happen if the wall was actually Black, because throughout history, the whole reason, here's a little fun fact, the whole reason why the gallery walls are white is because during salon style, which is when paintings are from ceiling to ground, left to right, just filling the wall, the portraits were of white people. And so having a white background allows their skin to glow a little bit better, to show more detail of their complexion. But as contemporary times come and there are POC people who are painting themselves, the white wall can actually wash out details that happen. So even though I'm working abstractly, I still want to utilize Black as a color, but also Blackness as the opposite, as a counterpart, not only with race, but also just to question, why not? Like, why do gallery walls have to stay this normal, quote unquote, why is that normal? That's just something that I question. So for me, I decided to explore spaces that wouldn't really be, you wouldn't consider it to be a gallery space. And one of the examples where this is the 360 Visualization Studio, and it's housed in the Digital Scholarship Lab at the MSU Libraries. So this is a digital 360 room with a screen. I believe it's about 8 feet tall, and it is encompassed in a dome. And I digitized my work, the breaking painting. I digitized it and overlaid animations of the dancers who were dancing on the work. And I also recorded the steps and sound effects of the dancers and created a sound design to create a little like music number. I'm not a producer, but it was something just to activate the different senses, because sometimes, or most of the times, just in the gallery, we only get to see it. And so what happens when we challenge that? Here's another collaborative piece I did. This is with a theater group here at MSU. They're called Digging, but Dig In, without the G. And when I visited their meeting, I noticed the way that they educated other students. They educated them in such a way that it felt freeing from the current, I would say, white-centered academic space. And I'm really grappling, but also understanding more, how can we teach and also learn without there being roots of anti-racist ideals, and how can we put that into our curriculums, because I also teach. So this is something that is important for me to express to my students, so that way I'm not just perpetuating the same subconscious ideals. And so this, to them, I asked them, you guys represent freedom. And I asked them, could you use your body to show what freedom means to you and interact with the paper in any way you want? So this is, I wasn't here when they did the interaction. So I really don't know what that pose she's doing, but it's really, I just have a really great feeling whenever I see this picture. And so there were multiple of them that touched the paper, and it was on the wall, but also on the ground. There were two pieces, and these two pieces, when I received them, I was thinking about the word freedom itself, and I would write it out. Here's the linguistics part of me. I just kept writing it out. And I noticed a pattern of this repetitive kind of upside down U shape that would happen when I'm writing these letters, the English letters for freedom. And so what I did was I abstracted the motion of writing freedom, and I only used those motions to paint these two pieces. So that is the essence of this. And there's a detail shot on the right side as well. So this one feels a bit more, I would say, watery, elemental in comparison to the more graphical one that we had. And then to go back to culture, but also background, I am a part of the liturgical dance ministry in my home church, New Psalmist Baptist Church, repping Baltimore. And I've been on the dance ministry for about 13 years, I believe now. And this dance is a part of me. So whenever I'm doing these large scale works, I'm embodying and also doing the movements that I would usually do in choreography on the piece itself. Yes, so there, I'm going to show you another work of art that is inspired, but also collaborating with my dance ministry. But I want to first show the motivation behind why I'm even doing this. So I'm just going to I'm just going to show a little clip, if it plays, the fingers crossed. This 13-year-old Morgan. Here. So this piece, I still remember the choreography to this day, but this piece this choreography, I think really shows not only another documentation of the memories that I have with dancing, but also the organic quality of how we present ourselves to the congregation, what our meaning and message is. Because as a dancer, or as a liturgical dancer, our function is to set the atmosphere for the sermon. So when I'm making my artwork, my the question that I always give myself is, how can I set this atmosphere for the audience to experience the work? Next. Oh, okay. There we go. So here's a detailed shot of the work that I did in collaboration with my dance ministry. This is called Footprints in the Sand. And this is 30 inches tall by 360 inches wide, which is 30 feet wide. And I want to show that so I mailed it back home. This was last year. I told them just practice on the piece. I know the choreography that you're practicing on or that you're doing, and I wish I was there to do it with you guys. But for now, could you just act like the paper's not there while you guys are practicing to prepare for the church services? And so they practiced on this for about, I would say, a month. So they have weekly practices, and this happened over a month period. And when this work was then mailed back to me, and what I did at first, I used a brush to put ink on the paper arbitrarily, just to figure out, I wonder if they touch the paper here, swipe another brush stroke. Okay, there's no fingerprints here. So I'm searching because I don't know where they touched it at all. So it's like a scavenger hunt for me. And then because this piece is 30 feet long and I was on a time crunch, I was wondering, how can I properly really show the visual language that I'm trying to even understand? Because I never know what the piece will look like in the end. I just need to have that initial thought of starting it. So what I did was I played a song that we danced to at the previous photo showed me pointing to my other members, and we were sitting in some pews. That was at the Greater Allen Cathedral Conference in New York, and there were 500 other dance ministries, I believe. So we did a specific choreography with all the dance ministries at that event. And so what I did was I played that particular song, and I dipped my feet in ink, and then I danced on the paper that choreography that we did. So it felt like a full circle moment where I was responding to them dancing on the paper, and it was a conversation without words. And this photo on the left is just to show the sweeping motions of the fabrics that we use as flags and how that is replicated in the drawing or painting that I did. And then now we're going to shift into individual scale. All of the pieces that I've shown you so far have been a collaborative scale. And this is a piece that I sent this to my friend, and he put it on his nightstand at first, and then he put it underneath his keyboard where he works. So this felt more personal, but also it is naturally smaller, maybe only 13 inches wide. And this is just another aspect of the kind of gargantuan work that I do, where the individual's ritual is just as important as the community's ritual. And then I just have readings that also inform my work. Most importantly, Frantz Fanon, I'm saying it wrong, but it's okay. Black Skin, White Mask. If you haven't read it, totally should if you want your mind expanded, neurons firing. This really, I would say, strengthens my sensibility on Blackness and also why our culture has even become the way it is because of the structures that we are subjugated to. And then also Bell Hooks, Teaching to Transgress, Education as a Practice of Freedom. I often refer back to this when I am thinking about pedagogy, what to teach to my students, because my teaching also informs my studio practice. Whatever I teach my students, I also take to heart and I do it myself. So I just want to be as like much of a conductor or basically just practice what I preach, I would say. So I'm not like being a hypocrite to my students and they actually do the work. But those are the inspirations and my work and what's next for future. What's next for me is graduating, but also really trying to find other communities to document because I feel like what I'm doing is really special. And it's not just for me, like I gain so much satisfaction when other people can experience the way that certain communities act. And then they're able to notice the community's efforts through my platform. So that's what I do. Thank you, guys.